Hi everyone! Today I'll be walking you through the basics of Notion by building this super simple dashboard. It comes with a tasks database where you can add main tasks as well as subtasks, an automated button to add today's tasks, a calendar view, and plenty of space to grow the board however you like. So let's get started with the tutorial. To start, we'll set the page font to mono, scale down the text size, and expand the layout to full width. I'm then just going to give my page a title and add some sort of quote underneath. To add a quote, enter a forward slash, write the word quote, and press enter. Throughout this video, I'm going to be showing you a lot of little shortcuts like this because they're super useful. So right now I'm actually just adding 2 columns in, and you can just enter the forward slash and type column. And I'm just going to drag and drop a little image so that we're making our board nice and aesthetic. You can also add these little dividers which just kind of separate the page and make it look really nice. And I actually made these little titles in Figma using a nice serif font, so you can also do that and just drag those in as images. I've got one here for pages and then another that just says my dashboard. And I'm just going to centrally align this image by pressing more options, align and center. Now underneath here we just need to add a database by entering a forward slash and typing database. Databases are the key to Notion, so you'll see me adding quite a few of these here. And you can see I'm just adding a couple of properties which are going to be really useful in my task list. So far we have 2 properties, one which is the task name and then the second which is a checkbox which is called done, so you can check this once the task is actually being completed. I'm also shrinking it just so it doesn't take up too much space. I've also added a property for the due date, and this is when the task needs to be completed, and the property type here is just the date property type. As you can see, I've used several types here. We've got the checkbox, the text one, and then also the date. I'm also just adjusting the sizes of the columns by hovering over and dragging the sides, just so that the information can fit in a bit nicer. I'm also adding a placeholder task here just so we can see what it looks like. In Notion we also have flexibility over the layout, so I'm just going to go to the settings and just hide the page icon, which just means we don't have to see the icon on the task anymore. We're then just going to hide the database title and change this little tab to be tasks, and you can actually set multiple views, so these are called views in Notion. So for the same database you can visualize this view in several different ways and filter it. And we're just going to add another title that I made earlier in Figma. This is going to be quick actions, so this is where you can put buttons and add different types of automation. I'm going to add a little divider underneath just to separate the page a bit, and then if you enter forward slash and type button, you get this little pop-up where you can enter the functionality of the button. For this one, I'm going to make it an automated new task button, where when you click the button, you add a new page to our task database. So you click do, add page, pick your database, and then under task, you can then edit the properties. So for example here, the due date can be the day that you actually triggered the automation. I'm also going to add in this other action which will open the page that you've just created. So when you press the button, it will create a new task for your database and also open it in a side peek, just like this. So just to test how it works, I've just added a second task here. Now we're going to add another database underneath, and I'm going to call this the pillars. And basically these are my little mini workspaces that I have for the different pillars of my life. So you can use this as a way to organize your notes and anything that goes in these other parts. By having these separate workspaces, it also means that you can then grow it in the future and add loads of new pages and functionality into your Notion workspace. So I'm going to add my first pillar here, which is going to be the food section. I'm also adding a new property, which is the description, and I want this property to appear on the main database, just so I can see from a high level what this workspace actually is. You can show and hide any of the properties in the database by going on the settings and then clicking properties, and you can turn on and off the eye icon to actually show and hide those. We're also going to upload a cover image, and I've picked out a few before that I found from Pinterest. As you can see, I'm going for a very light green theme here, and it just makes everything consistent. I'm just adding the other sections here and dragging and dropping cover images so that you can see them, as well as adding descriptions for each. I've also added a cover image to the main Notion page, as well as adding a custom icon which I found on Pinterest. This one has a transparent background so it looks a little better. We're also going to hide the database title for the pillars section and just give it a nice little icon to match the others. And for our last database, we're going to add another view of the task list. So add a database, link to existing, and we're going to pick the tasks database, and then we're going to change the view to be a calendar. This is the same database that we made earlier, it's just a different view of it. So this calendar view means that you can see all the tasks that you need to do from a high level across the month. And after adding the calendar, your board is officially done. This is a really simple Notion workspace and great for beginners if you haven't used Notion before, and it's also super easy to expand so you can make it your own over time. I hope you found this helpful, and thank you so much for watching.